Hey, everybody, and welcome to another installment, another edition of Work Your Career Wednesday. I'm Bradley Clark, and I'm so happy you decided to tune in today. Today, we wrap up the series with Nicole Adams. She's the former HR coordinator for the Oakland and Las Vegas Raiders, and joining me, my co-host, Karla. She's the former VP of HR and Operations for the Oakland and Las Vegas Raiders. This series has been great. In part one, we cover a lot of the things, misconceptions about millennials. We went over Nicole's story, and it's just been fantastic. Today, we cover some things that really should pertain to you. Things like employee rights, knowing what to do, and we get a little more insight into Nicole and her experience with the Raiders. So just stay tuned. It's going to be fantastic. Now I've got to talk about White Husky Films. I tell you what, if you need anything and everything pertaining to video, you got to get a hold of Steven Saldana at White Husky Films. The number is on the screen, and you can also reach us by the internet, www.whitehuskyfilms.com. And I tell you what, when you choose White Husky, you will be so glad you did. All right, now without further ado, let's welcome Ms. Nicole Adams and my co-host, Karla. Hey everybody, welcome back to Work Your Career Wednesday. This is so great. I'm having a great time. I hope you are too. So much information in this. Nicole Adams, thank you so much again for being here. Now we're going to get into some topics. Okay, check this out. Now, when both of you were and I think I'm gonna go to Karla first on this. When you guys were with the Raiders, there was layoffs.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about layoffs. We were just talking about sort of in the last segment what an employee should look for. Let me ask this really of both of you. And Karla, if you would go first, that'd be great. How do you shepherd, or rather, I guess, what's the impact on the organization? How do you shepherd the organization through it? But then also, how do you shepherd the employee or the employees through sort of the next chapter as your chapter, the chapter with them and the organization is coming to a close? How do you shepherd that employee through that? How do you shepherd the organization?
So are we talking about the employees that we were laying off, or the existing employees that remained? Because that's two parts. So you gotta,
goodness gracious, yes, that's even better.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Because you have to shepherd, first of all, your outgoing employee and help them through it, help guide them through it, to make sure that first of all, and this is just me, Nicole has told me that not everyone is me, and I think I've said this when you interviewed me, when people leave, whether it's termination, whether it's layoff, they need to be handled with grace. Employees, with as much care as when they came in, just as much care as when they leave, because this is someone's livelihood that they're no longer will have. So communication is the biggest piece. And for me, what worked for me was always communicating with the employee, always making sure that whatever I said, I meant, and I did. So it wasn't, and Nicole also touched it, it wasn't like you talk to somebody and then you forget about it. It's like you got to follow them through the whole process, from explaining all their rights to them, explaining if there's a package, what that package looks like, what the best outcome for them would be. I mean, you've got to shepherd them through their whole thing, but emotionally really be there for them, because this is hard. They don't have they no longer have a job. So, and with the Raiders, we had to do that we did that through the relocation. So when we did that, and there were times that we had to do layoffs, that the job was just no longer available, that we had to do some layoffs at some point. So it's really guiding that employee through that emotionally, but also making sure they understand their rights. And as HR, it's a delicate balance that that you're walking. I mean, Nicole, what did you think?
So yeah, it's a tightrope, and I will say that Karla and I are different when it comes to being HR professionals, because we're very 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 people centric, and not all HR people are people centric. I will say, like, so know who you're dealing with first off, because you can't put all of your trust into all HR teams at every HR organization. That's just first, plain and simple. But when it comes to being someone who is on the receiving end of a layoff, I would say, one, make sure that you're building a rapport with people even before you get to that layoff part, because you want to make sure that you're building long-standing relationships, whether it's just, you don't have to talk to them, they don't have to be your best friend, but are they going to be able to advocate for you? That you want to have people who are willing to say good things about you even when you're not in the room.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you're building those relationships to where you don't even have to be there and someone's willing to say, I know someone who would be perfect for that role. And you get more flies with honey than vinegar. So even if it is a nasty situation, even if you're upset and angry and feel like you are undeserving to be on that side, handle it with grace. You want to be fair but firm. Make sure that you're talking about what you need, asking for what you need, but also
if you're an employee,
if you're an
if you're on
employee,
that receiving end,
yeah,
you handle it with grace.
yeah.
And okay, sorry.
Fair and firm, because some people, like, you have people negotiating their severance packages. You have people saying, like, I've been here for so long and I need more COBRA, I need more, which is a continuation of your benefits. I need more COBRA, I need more benefits because I'm going through this ailment or I have this surgery in a couple of months. And so you be fair and firm, ask for what you need, but do it gracefully. And people are going to be way more willing to help you if you are pleasant. If they do not like you, they will throw you to the wolves in a heartbeat and not care about what happened.
Thanks for shopping.
Yeah, and if you're on the receiving end, understand too, is like, we're the HR is the messengers. That's what I mean, that's just our job. It's the worst part of our jobs, is letting anyone go. I mean, this is your livelihood. I don't want to see anyone like her. I don't want anyone to lose their livelihood. So we are most HR people that I know are just as empathetic. We don't want to be in that room either, but we will be the advocates. Well, I know Nicole. I mean, we are very people centric, but if you ask for what you want, I mean,
yeah,
we'll fight.
So that's awesome to know, because not everybody knows that, right? And I've read somewhere, our people perish for lack of knowledge. And that's part of what this show's about, is making sure that people are as educated as possible. And I love that. Wow, I love what you guys just said is so big. Let me ask this: how do you shepherd the remaining people, or how do you make sure your team is not afraid of dealing with the same things? Karla, go ahead and take that one, and then let's throw it to Nicole too.
Well, when it came to my direct team, it was always communication. They were never blindsided. They knew everything that was going on.
Communication's key.
Communication's key.
That's amazing.
Communication's key for an organization. Communication's key with your team as a leader, and quite frankly, HR. No matter what role you're in, you are leaders of the organization, because you are shepherding the employee. You are the employee's advocates, right? So it doesn't matter from you are an associate, an assistant, all the way up to a chief, you are a leader. That's what HR is. They're very strategic. We are strategic, but we are leaders of the organization. And our job is to ensure that the employees are taken care of. That's what we do. So we're building that relationship and we are communicating. I always communicated with my team. My team always knew what was going on because I never want them blindsided. So they knew what was going on before it even happened. It's like they got a heads up from me.
I absolutely love that.
Because they're put in an uncomfortable position too. I mean, sometimes my team had to be the ones to go and get the employees to bring them to my office. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, it was
right there.
So she's like pointing, yep, sometimes that happened. So
like, I can just see that too. I can just see that. It would be like, Nicole, go get so-and-so.
Yeah, that's exactly she would go.
It's almost like I know her.
go tap them on the shoulder.
Karla wants to see right. You know, and then the manager and I are sitting in an office. So I mean, it was uncomfortable, just as uncomfortable for my team as it was for us. It wasn't a happy feeling. And sometimes they had to be the one to escort the employees out.
Well, okay, so Nicole, being on the team, you know, and being a part of the team that, you know, that has to do all this. And this isn't the only thing about HR, and I don't want to, we're going to get to the good parts too, because that's the next thing. But, you know, how did you make sure, because you know, you were a leader on Karla's team, absolute leader.
Yeah.
I knew if there was anything I needed, you know, call Nicole. If there was anything, you know, what, you know, if Karla didn't know something, it was, you know, let me ask Nicole, I'm not sure about that, or, you know, whatever. So you were an absolute leader, and Karla, you know, relied on you a lot, and she makes no bones about that.
I make no bones about it. She was my right-hand person.
That's right. So for your I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but from you being on the team perspective, not the leader, but a leader. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you guys, you know, what did you, I guess, how did you support each other, you know, to make sure, I mean, again, you had Karla, so you weren't blindsided by anything, but, you know, just to make sure that, you know, you guys were strong so you could be strong for the rest of the organization, you know, because, I mean, people don't really get it, but the Raiders weren't that big of an organization. You know, it was a small company. So how did you make sure that everybody else felt that they were okay and that, you know, keep going, make, you know, do what you need to do, keep doing the best you can?
Yeah, I think for starting, because you had asked about the emotions of the team going through the layoff and wondering if you're going to be impacted as well. There's no way that you can reassure someone that that's not going to happen. In fact, there's no way that your company can assure you that they're not going to be able to lay you off. And so your boss can't be that person to reassure you of that, because there's no way of knowing the future. Anything can happen at any given time. And so understand that there's no right way to do something horrific. There's no right way.
Love it. There's no right way to do something horrific.
No, not at all. So the team, us having all of it's going to be happening in real time. First off, everyone processes emotions very differently. We touched on my experiences growing up, and so I have a different experience for how I handle things. Just from growing up, I say, like, I'm built for it tough, because the way that I had to go, my dad's favorite thing to tell us was toughen up. So I have a different way of processing and handling my emotions and handling hard situations. Someone else may have been coddled, may have never experienced something like this before, or maybe it's someone's first job. And so understanding that we're all going to be going through so many different emotions and we're all going to process things differently, and being okay with how someone processes it, even if you don't understand it. Like if we talked about generations, like I am a millennial, there are things that may be different from me. I may want to care more about my health and protecting my chi or my vibes or what have you. And someone else may be like, well, you need to worry about going to get another job in your livelihood. I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I want to protect my aura. And so understanding that, like, even if it's something that you wouldn't do, we have different ways of handling things. Respect it, even if you don't understand it, and be a resource to someone else. So even if you don't understand where someone's coming from or how they process emotions, be open to being a resource to them, to being part of their network and part of their team, because you all are going through the same thing, even if you have different ways of handling that.
We had an open door policy, Brad, that anyone after it happened, they would either go into my office, they could go into Nicole's office, they would go talk to our recruiter. I mean, HR was just that we were just open. So just to even just come and talk to us about, I don't understand what happened. It would be like, we don't understand what happened, but we're here. We're in it together. You know, so that's, I think, how we navigated it, is that we really listened. And, you know, I mean, they would sit in either one of our offices for a very long time sometimes. Just
being a real resource.
Yeah, just processing. And we would listen. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, Nicole will tell you, I mean, we would go home drained. And we would be there. I mean, we would be working after, if we had to do any kind of termination, whether it's a layoff, whether it's a termination, Nicole and I were prepared to work really late that night, because we know part of that was processing with employees.
So you, at the end of the day, you guys really just had to be there for each other.
Yeah.
And keep each other helped up. That's awesome.
We left together. Awesome. we would leave that building together.
Nicole, I'm sorry.
Please. Go ahead. A lot of people hate the word, like, when you talk about organizations as a family, because it is a business. But when you're going through hard times with your team, that's when you need to show up for people and really be a person who puts that person first. And that's when you need to be that quote unquote family, because y'all are going through the same things. You're going through the same things. You're feeling the same emotions, despite whether or not you process them in the same way. And you need to make sure that you're like, we're checking on each other. It's like with the Raiders, you could be someone who hated this person over here in this department, but no one else better talk about them. Or they're going to have to deal with you. Yep. And that's what you need to be when you're a company. Like, look, we're all going through this terrible time together, but no one else is going to come in and hurt you. No one else is going to come in and talk about you. We're going to have each other's back. And that's what you need to do when you're going through a layoff.
Yeah.
You're a real team.
Yeah. That's Lean on that team part, because at the end of the day, a layoff will pack all of you the same way.
Yeah.
Well, so we talked about layoffs, talked about all that. What's the best thing about being in HR?
For me, the best thing about being in HR is being in a field that the world will always need.
So job security. That's the best thing. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's great.
From that, like, what I get out of HR, like what makes me want to continue to be in this field, the best thing, and everyone's, I feel like, reason is going to be differently. A lot of people fell into HR, slip slide, and then found their way into an HR role. I think the best thing is being able to, one, be a resource, and to guide people in directions where I think would be more impactful and beneficial to their future. And even like with people who, if they're someone who's in another generation or another ethnic group or just different from me, I get to learn their perspectives. And even if I don't agree, I get to learn how they think and what they think. And then I get to teach them my perspective, and I get to teach them how I would handle things. And somewhere we meet in the middle and we both leave with a better understanding and we're better for it. And for me, that's the best thing for me about HR.
That's awesome. Ditto.
You grow in ways that you never awesome. Thought you'd be able to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing I always used to say in my job was, well, when I first started out, but even now, is like when I've stopped growing, then it's time for me to leave. So if I'm going to keep growing and building in my field, then that's why it's still, I still want to get up and do this job. I still want to get up and meet people and employee relationships and build a department and, you know, just make an impact and mentor. I mean, I love taking a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed employee that's like, I want to learn. And like, I mean, I've said this before, I hire smart people, and I hire people that want my job because they're only going to make me better. And I hire different perspective, and I want my employees to push me. I want my employees to give me a different perspective and a different idea, because I don't know it all. And as you know, AI, and you have, you know what I mean, technology, I'm learning just like everybody else. So I want people to bring me a different perspective, because just the way that, because I've always done it this way doesn't mean it's the right way. It's just a different way. So, you know,
love that.
Work smarter, not harder. And I want to always work smarter, not harder. So I love bringing in someone that can give me that different perspective, but will also push me. But I mean, I'm going to push them just as much.
Yeah.
I want them to grow. So that's what I love about my job.
I love that you reminded me of a question I wanted to ask Nicole too. I love that perspective. But we were, you know, Karla and I talked a lot about AI in the last in the show she was on, and we talked a lot about it off air too. I'd love to get your perspective on it. Well, how do you think AI is? I mean, is it good? Is it bad? Is it, you know, from your perspective, you know, particularly coming from a recruiter / HR perspective, what do you think of AI, and do you think it's going to help or hurt?
So my feelings are all over the board. I think first off, there's nothing, you're going to lose the human perspective, and there's nothing.
I think we're already losing it.
Better.
Yeah, I think that's it's great observation. I think we're losing it already. Sorry, go ahead.
We are losing it already. And then there's nothing better. There's nothing better than the human touch, I think. But on the other side, humans are, although technology can have errors as well, humans we know have more because we are human, and so we get to take some of the human errors out of there. I kind of feel like it's a double-edged sword. Like you have to, in all situations, see what's good in it, see what's bad in it, do away with the bad, keep the good. And you have to be willing to learn and be willing to accept other differences or different ways of thinking or ways of doing things, even if it goes against something that you would do or what you believe in.
I see what you're saying, but what I find too is that on some of these applications, and I really want to get your perspective on this.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about sort of being inclusive, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't see that with AI right now. I see applications that are incredibly divisive and in some cases embarrassing for me. You know what I mean? Like the questions they're asking, they don't have any business knowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. From my perspective, I just, correct me if I'm wrong, because that's the thing I see. Because I see what you're saying. We thought it was to come in and be inclusive, because humans make mistakes. At the same time, the AI is built by humans. So could we be making a mistake and allowing some of these things to be dictating our talent pool in some cases, particularly if you're in sort of a talent acquisition and the whole job is geared toward gathering?
Yeah, of course.
What do you think?
You first off, you don't know what you don't know. So you need to be comfortable not knowing what you don't know. There are some things that AI are going to take away from us when it comes to the DEI space and making sure that there is a better candidate pool. Some of the things that we're trying to fix with having AI, we actually may be ultimately hurting. And so we need to be comfortable knowing that that may be a very real outcome. And if that is an outcome, we need to be willing to say, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something different. So that's first
Love
off.
that.
But with,
I love that.
yeah, we can't hold fast to bad decisions. And there's no need to double down on something. We all make mistakes and we all make errors. And if something we thought was going to be the next big thing turns out that it actually hurt us, we need to be willing to walk away from that and say, okay, I learned the lesson.
Well, like what, how you were taught, how I was taught, if Karla was taught, you either win or you learn.
Yeah.
And I think too many people are looking at it because of so much time, energy, and money invested, and they're taking it as a loss instead of a learn. I mean, isn't that the whole point of deep learning?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's in the name.
Yeah, you need to do that with AI. How I feel about it when it comes to recruiting, I feel the same as you. I do feel that it may hurt us in that DI space because there are a lot of things that you're missing out on when it comes to being able to look at resumes and get the candidate pool that you're actually wanting to get. But I think that's where on the other side, for recruiters or for people who feel like you or I, we have to teach people who are the individuals applying what they should be doing to help them combat what we feel AI is missing. And so if you want to, I think if you have problems with something, don't just stand up and complain, actually provide a solution. And so if you can't provide a solution, then you just become part of the problem. So I feel strongly that AI can hurt a lot of candidates. And I feel that in order to help with that, I want to teach individuals what they should be doing to kind of beat the AI systems that I think may be hurting them. So teaching them what to put on their resume, teaching them how to gear their resume towards what's on the job posting. And let me say, like, we don't know have all the answers. We don't know what we don't know, but we can try.
Love that. And be willing to have the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, with the developers and with, I absolutely love that.
But I think also too, is that on the other side is that you also not just need to teach the candidates, you also need to teach the recruiters on what, I mean, just because AI may have, and we did this, just because AI may have disqualified them for a position, that doesn't mean that the recruiter cannot go in and do a quick skim to see something,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
it's AI is there to assist. And yes, a lot of times they do disqualify a lot of employees or candidates,
Yeah.
and it's probably right. But if you do a quick skim of resumes, that if you're looking at your candidate pool and you're like, oh, okay, wait, let's see if we've got somebody else, you can do a quick skim. A good recruiter is in 5 minutes is going to see, or a couple of minutes going
Right.
to say, okay, yep, that person is, we should probably move that person along.
And that goes into also, good training for the
Yeah.
recruiter, which I don't know if we're doing that, but you know what, we're gonna fix that very, very soon. I know we are.
Okay.
We're gonna take a break real quick. When we come back, oh my gosh, more questions for the one, the only Nicole Adams. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Attention lawyers. Are you tired of wasting thousands of dollars in billboards, magazines, and more with little results? If so, we can help you save big. Did you know that a powerful video can be used on practically any platform and get you more clients than just one billboard alone? Visit our website at whitehuskyfilms.com. Call or text us today to receive a limited time offer. Take advantage of this one while it's here. It won't last long.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're having a great discussion here with Karla, Ty, and Nicole Adams. I got to tell you, this has been really great. It's been entertaining, and I tell you, it's been incredibly educational. So I've learned a lot so far. Let me ask this, Nicole, you are such a great advocate for people. If there's, one thing that if there's one thing I can glean, which is several, but one of the takeaways, even if there's only one, is that you are just an advocate for folks, and that, you want, you're one of the, I would say in this day and age, which we're in a crazy time, but I can feel, and I know that you are one of the people that really want to see people succeed. And that is incredible. So let's say in the future, right? Because you're going straight toward executive leadership. I already know it. Karla knows it. She agrees with me.
She's ready.
What if you could start your own business, let's say, what would it be, and how would it differ from, because there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah.
How would it differ from what's out there now?
I think about this a lot because I am thinking about the future, like what's next for me, and how can I continue to do what I love, but make money and make sure that I am setting myself up for success. Because ultimately, like, none of it matters if you can't have a roof over your own head. So I want to continue to partner what I love, what I'm passionate about, with my income. And for me, it's being an advocate, it's teaching people, it's empowering people. And so starting a business, it would have to have something to do with advocacy, with empowering, with giving people the knowledge, because knowledge is power, and teaching them and coaching them. And so for a company, it would have to be something that, since my wheelhouse is in HR, it would have to be something that helped people with their career, helps people with something that we do in HR, or me being a generalist, I am able to host different wellness activities. So from financial wellness, being financially literate, because that's something that's lost with a lot of people. It's something that's not taught in schools that I think should be. People having mental wellness and things like that. I want to make sure that all of those components are taught to people who are not in organizations that give them those resources, because a lot of times you have to get into a good company to have those resources that I feel should be available for everyone. And so how my company, how my business would differ from what's out there, I don't know that it would. I think that, like you said, there's nothing new under the sun. I think what makes you different is taking something that's existing and figuring out what it's missing and making it better than what's out there and making it more accessible to the people who are not able to access it now. So the people who are really needing this resource, this guidance, this help, those individuals who may not have a computer or a laptop that most people would use, the people who may not even know how to type Google and may not even know how to type in a Google search, those individuals, like, how do I get more of the resources to them and the support to them? That's how I would want to differentiate myself, because it's easy to do this for people who are literate, for people who are middle income or wealthy. It's much harder to do it for people who don't have a computer. It's much harder to do it for people who are sleeping on the streets, who don't have a shower or don't know where their next meal is coming from. So something where I am taking what's already out there and getting it to more people, making it bigger, making it, for lack of a better word, better, improving upon something that's already out there, being innovative.
Do you think companies miss it by not making sure their employees are financially literate? You know, meaning, you know, if you get a pension plan, what that means, if you get a stock plan, what that means, if you get stock options, what does that mean? You know, and how does it, you know, how's it going to benefit you to invest in those stock options if they weren't grants? You know, I mean, what's the difference between an option and a grant? Do you think companies miss it a little bit when they don't have a focus on that?
Yes, because
or at least classes or something?
Yep.
100%. Because when you're not teaching your employees about their employee package, what you're offering as a company, you're making it so that the only thing that they care about is their income and what they're making on a salaried basis and what they're making like year over year. And that's not all that the company is offering to them. And so as a company, you want to make sure that they know it costs this much for your benefits. It costs this much for us to have you as an employee. Your perks, for us to be able to fly you here, there, or for us to be able to give you a bonus, it costs this much. And when you don't teach them about that, and you have them focus on their salary alone, it actually costs you more as an employer to keep employees, to attract good talent, and to keep your good talent in the seats that they're in, because you're not focusing on the other benefits of your company and how that can help that person long term. They don't care. Just like it's a business for you, it's a business for them. They don't care about what the company's making. They don't care about how the company is going to succeed if it differs from them taking care of themselves. So they want to know how this company is going to help them be financially secure in the future. And if you're not teaching them that as an employer, you're missing a very, very important piece for them, and you are going to lose top talent.
So when you hear about wellness, people first think about mental health, but they don't look at the whole employee. Well, it's not just about mental, it's all about financial. It's about the complete employee. So, I mean, that's a lot of things. It's mind, body, and your finances. Because your finances, if you don't have the right finances, it leads to stress, which leads to your mental health. If you are not healthy, that leads to other issues. So, I mean, you got to look at the complete, when it talks about wellness, it's a complete package. It's from your mental health, your financial health, it's everything. And as Nicole was saying, it's a total comp package. So this is everything. So when you are on an onboarding and you are making an offer, that new employee should know what your total comp is, because they said you should show them from your salary to what your benefits are. This is everything. This is what your total package looks like, and this is what your total benefits look like. And when we're building a wellness program, that's what it should be. Your wellness program should include everything. And Nicole and I did that for the Raiders. We built out a complete wellness program, from professional wellness, from health, mental, financial was huge for us. We brought in financial leaders to teach our employees their finances and what that looks like for investments, for what their pension looked like. We had people that they were getting commission and then leasing cars, and we're like, what? Let's show you how to really, what your finances should really look like. And we built out a total wellness package. I mean, we had to fight for it. I mean, when we presented it, it had to be this whole big thing to present.
Well, wellness packages are, I mean, it's like it's an email with some salad on it, you know, telling you to work out a couple, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, and the benefits of quinoa.
Yeah, we call it the fluff. It's the fluff.
So I love that. So that's, I don't think that's common, you know, to have a wellness, because, you know, you think of wellness as, well, wellness, you know, not having mental, physical, you know, not having a heart attack, you know, on the job, you know. I mean, that's, but they don't take into consideration the financial wellness.
Yeah, I mean that's really important. Your mental health
is huge.
Is absolutely important, and so is your, you know, your overall health. But the piece that Nicole and I, when we sat down to build out that wellness program,
yeah,
we're like, what about the finances? People were getting ready to move to Vegas. They wanted to buy homes. They wanted to, so we were like, we have to prepare our team, especially millennials, how to really manage their money.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a very
it was
big
a
deal.
huge thing.
Yeah, so the big picture, they may not care about that. So for them, you have to like speak their language. What do they care about, and tell them how that's going to benefit them. So for companies who are missing that component, I would say, like, it's your return on investment. It costs you a certain dollar to hire people, and if you're losing those people who are the key players in your business, having to rehire them is going to cost you a whole lot more, and salaries are not going down. So the person that you've got on the cheap now, they cost twice as much for you to hire that position. So you think about it like that. What are you going to lose if you don't change and make sure that this employee has a very well-rounded understanding of what their wellness is? And also it decreases sick days, it decreases the insurance costs, because that impacts so many other things. Like, someone who is stressing over finances is not going to be healthy at all. So you are tackling health from all different avenues.
Oh, you know, what about, you know, having a sick spouse, you know?
Exactly. Being a caregiver.
I mean, that's a big deal too, you know. And so it can all, especially if there's no, if the employee doesn't feel like there's support there, or that they feel like it's, more or less a burden, and they certainly don't want to tell anybody about.
Yeah. And
You
how
know
can
what I
they give the
mean?
best work to you?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And
I think that's
when we did this, Brad, at the Raiders, understand we had zero budget. So we had to look around and said, how can we utilize what is currently going on at the facility and make it work for us on the front office? And then sell it to the leaders to really get them to understand that this is important. So, I mean, we didn't have a wellness plan. We didn't have that. That is something that we built out. Nicole came to me and said, hey, and I'm like, I said, Nicole, we need a wellness plan. And she goes, okay. And I'm like, start drawing something up, bring that to me, and let's work on that together. And we came up with a complete plan. And we reached out between Nicole and I. We were going to football, and we were going to our coaches, and we're like, hey, will you do this? Will you do that? I mean, I might have promised Nicole's firstborn a couple times, so so we could get him to do it for free. I mean, at this point, I don't think Nicole has any kids left with her, because I think I might have promised them all. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
I'm saying
That is so great.
I had to do a lot of bartering, because Nicole's like, well, how are we gonna pay for it? I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Oh gosh, man, I tell you, I have just, this has just been so eye-opening. I think if there's like a president of the millennials, you need to be the president, Nicole. What a fantastic, just a lot of eye-opening for me, and I know for our audience, really. The one thing I'm gonna say, Brad, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the one thing I'm gonna say is, leaders, hire people that want to work. Hire inexperienced, because hungry or starving. They are starving, and they just want they just want an opportunity. As you have experienced people also want that opportunity, but don't discount anyone. You've got to look at people
holistically,
right?
From I agree. I absolutely agree. One of the the things that me and Karla talked about was the ageism thing, to where it's a real thing, but it's also it's a real thing on both ends of the spectrum, and so I think we did a lot of really discounting those myths and here, but also I think there's a healthy element of understanding as well. And I love the fact that you were very open about it and honest about it, and I just love that. I love that, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on, and really just absolutely fantastic. What now? I know you're with the SaaS company now, and again, I'll you guys are doing great. For you though, what, like, do you have anything in, are you going to write a book, or are you gonna come, be a repeat guest on Work Your Career Wednesday? I mean, what's next for Nicole, and what are some of the things that you see on the horizon for you?
So first off, love to be a repeat guest here. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, you're more than welcome. You got an open invitation. Absolutely.
We'll be back. We'll continue to dispel some of those myths about millennials, and we'll continue to learn from one another, because everything's about learning from someone. If you can't, if you can't beat them, join them. But I like to say, like, if you can't agree with them, learn from them. So I'm more than happy to do that. But
awesome. For me, thank you.
Next, if I am if I am not helping people, I am not happy. And as corny as that may sound, and as unbelievable
Not
as
at
that
all.
may sound, like
Yeah.
if I'm not helping people, I don't feel fulfilled. And so for me, I am, like we talked about, starting a business. And so I am training to be a coach, and I want to ensure that I am coaching people on the things that I've had to learn the hard way in trying to find a career, and also the things that I've had handed to me when trying to find a career, because I've had a great opportunity to have both. And so I want to, if I can make somebody's journey a little bit easier, then I feel fulfilled. I feel happy. And so I want to be a coach. I want to be an advocate. I want to have you help yourself, like help me help you. And so that's what I am striving for. I'm striving to build a business with one of my best friends right now, who tackles the financial aspect of it, because she is in finance. And so she wants to be the financial guru, teaching people how to have generational wealth, and teaching them how to not let your job work you into the ground. And then I want to help people with their journey. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you the game that was given to me, and I'm going to help you with some of the things that I had to learn the hard way. So that's what's next.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. And I don't know, maybe somehow be a part of it. So, Nicole,
I'm going to work for her. Just saying.
There you go. Well, I got to tell you, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on today for Work Your Career Wednesday. Again, it's just been absolutely fantastic. Karla, thank you for coming on again. And we have an announcement coming up very, very soon with Karla and I. So people stay tuned for that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. Just stay tuned for that. It's gonna be great. But for everyone at Work Your Career Wednesday and White Husky Films, thank you so much for joining us today. And I got to tell you, as we close every show, I love you. God bless you. Let His face shine upon you and give you great peace. Be excellent to yourself and each other. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
What did I tell you? Great show, wonderful insights, and really practical things that you can apply to your own career. And that's really what this show is about. You know, it's empowerment, it's encouragement, it's education, and we hope you're entertained a little bit too. So stay tuned. We have some amazing guests coming on the show this season. I tell you, you don't want to miss it. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, and don't miss an episode of Work Your Career Wednesday. Hit the notification bell, do all that, and you'll be glad you did. So for White Husky Films and everyone here at Work Your Career Wednesday, we sign off like we always do. I love you, and God bless you, and let His face shine upon you and give you great peace. Be excellent to yourself and each other. We'll see you next week.
White Husky Films. Dream, create, record. We create ads and promos for your business. We can promote your video on television, Facebook, YouTube, Hulu, and more. We do a full Google SEO analysis for you with any plan. Call us today at 305-744-1444 or visit our website at whitehuskyfilms.com. White Husky Films.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Hey, if you like Work Your Career Wednesday and want to be notified every single time we have a new episode, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Smash it. Get a hammer and get it. And
Yeah, that's fine.
Too much?
No, that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I love it. People want.
Do you hear Steven in the background? I was just making sure I'm going to be okay. But get that notification going. And hey, we will be letting you know, or I guess YouTube will be letting you know, when the next Work Your Career Wednesday is on. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Man, ding it, ring it. Sling it and bo bang it. All right? And we will see you soon. Work Your Career Wednesday. Oh, great. I'm glad you stopped by. Be sure to get that subscription bell, and I'll see you there.